What if I told you that in the near future, the absolute most powerful person in the music industry isn't a pop star,
Okay.
and it isn't a record executive or, an algorithm engineer either.
And who is it?
It's a passenger sitting in a Tesla, typing a message on the dashboard screen to an artist who doesn't even physically exist.
Oh, wow. I mean, that sounds completely like science fiction.
Right. It sounds crazy. But looking at the massive stack of documents we have in front of us today, it's actually the architectural reality of where music is heading.
Yeah, it really is.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are looking at a huge cache of internal interface designs, user dashboards, onboarding flows, and ecosystem maps from the newly launched AI Artist Hub.
And specifically, we're going straight inside their fan mode.
Exactly. Our mission today is to really unpack the mechanics of how this platform is intentionally engineering a shared collaborative ecosystem, a place where creators, AI artists, and you, the listener, are all operating in this fundamentally different economic and social paradigm.
It is a profound structural pivot. I mean, we are essentially looking at the death of passive consumption.
The death of passive consumption, that's a strong way to put it.
But it's true. If you trace the history of digital music over the last, say, 20 years, it has been completely defined by isolation.
Yeah, you just put on your headphones.
Right. Put on your headphones, you open an app, and you are served this linear feed of audio files. You are completely siloed.
Just you and the algorithm.
Exactly. But the AI Artist Hub's documentation reveals an entirely different premise. Music is no longer just a file you temporarily rent.
Right.
It is a shared, continuous space that you inhabit. And your presence in that space is the actual infrastructure of the platform.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because we've all seen what happens when legacy platforms like Spotify or Apple Music prioritize the algorithm over human curation.
The music just becomes background noise.
Totally. It's wallpaper. Legacy platforms treat you as a wallet and an eardrum. You're just inventory, right? Inventory to be sold to advertisers or, a recurring monthly charge. They optimize for the creator's upload and the algorithm's distribution, and they leave the fan as this totally invisible metric.
Which is a huge mistake.
Right. But analyzing these internal maps for the AI Artist Hub, it's so clear they identified that a platform built exclusively around creators churning out AI tracks, well, it's going to become a ghost town very quickly.
What's fascinating here is the realization that in an era of infinite generative AI music, the music itself is no longer the scarce resource.
Because anyone can make it.
Exactly. If literally anyone can generate a technically proficient track in 10 seconds,
Yeah.
the sheer volume of audio becomes completely meaningless without context.
Right.
So the scarce resource in this new economy is human attention. It's human curation.
Because traditional streaming apps are just highly efficient plumbing.
Yes, they pipe audio to your ears. But plumbing doesn't build culture.
Wow, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
The interface designs we're looking at today prove that the hub isn't building a pipe. They're building a stock market for cultural capital.
Oh, I like that.
They need fans inside the walls, actively assigning value. Because without the fans' validation, the AI artist is just dead code sitting on a server.
Just dead code. And that philosophy, it's literally hard-coded into the architecture the absolute second you try to join the platform.
Oh, the onboarding flow. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's look at the data ontology here. They skip the usual friction of complex account creation. You can use standard single sign-on protocols to get in immediately, Google, Apple, whatever.
Super frictionless.
Super frictionless, but then the architecture forces a really critical psychological gate. It's this dark interface, and it demands you answer one question.
Who are you here to be?
Exactly. Who are you here to be? You are presented with a fork in the road. Path one is become a creator.
Right.
Where the subtext is all about building AI artists and launching a pocket label.
We will definitely get into pocket labels later.
Oh, absolutely. And then path two is continuous fan. And the subtext there is to discover artists, build playlists, and I love this phrasing, stay in the culture.
We have to really analyze the mechanism of that specific welcome screen because it completely rewrites the user's relationship to the platform before they hear a single note of music.
Right, because legacy platforms just ask you what you want to listen to.
Exactly. They want to map your consumption habits. The hub is asking who you want to be. By forcing a declarative choice between creator and fan, it establishes the fan as a primary actor within the system.
You're not just a passive consumer.
No, you aren't sneaking in the back door to consume what the creators made. You are making a conscious declaration of your utility in this ecosystem.
Okay, I understand the psychological framing, but let me push back on the practical application of this just a bit.
Sure.
How is this functionally different from a standard user setup? Like, it still essentially bifurcates users into people who make things and people who consume things, which is the exact same dynamic as YouTube or SoundCloud.
That's a fair question. But I would argue it's entirely different because of how the database categorizes that choice.
Okay, how so?
On YouTube, your consumption is passive data used to train a recommendation algorithm that strictly serves you.
Right, to keep me watching more ads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the AI Artist Hub, choosing Continuous Fan transforms your consumption into active data that serves the ecosystem.
Oh, I see.
Notice the specific language they use, like you said earlier, stay in the culture.
Stay in the culture, yeah.
It frames fandom not as a transaction, but as a permanent active state. They've reduced the technical barrier to entry to zero with single sign-on, but they have drastically increased the psychological friction by demanding an identity.
You really have to commit to a role.
You do.
And that distinction makes so much sense when you look at what happens immediately after you choose that path. The platform demands you construct a highly visible digital identity.
The fan settings interface.
Yeah, the fan settings. There is literally no option to remain an anonymous lurker. You must undergo this really intentional setup.
What do they ask for?
You need a public profile photo, a display name, and a unique fan handle. The internal example we have shows a user with the handle @TheArtOfficialOnes.
Very cool handle.
Right. And you are also required to draft an About You bio section.
Which is wild for a music listener.
Completely wild. Legacy platforms want you anonymous so they can package and sell your data in bulk. Here, they want you public.
Because the currency of this platform is public reputation.
Right.
Think about it. If you allow users to remain invisible data points, you cannot build a localized culture. The requirement of a public profile means the fan is capable of building equity in their own taste.
And the granularity of the data they ask for during the setup, that's what really caught my attention. It's not just a generic grid of popular artists to click on.
Oh, it goes way deeper.
Way deeper. They require your specific geographic location down to the city, state, and country.
Which feels intense.
It does. And then they run you through this deeply granular listening preferences matrix.
You know what? Everybody around here talking all this noise. They worry about what's going on.